go. Hey everyone! I am back for a 2-week update. Hopefully I can keep up with this. Sorry if there is a glare on my glasses. I can't exactly help it when that happens because I have what they call prisms in my glasses, so you might see kind of rainbowy stuff. It's all sorts of fun. If you happen to hear any noises, you'll probably hear my dog. She hopefully will not bark, but you might hear her growl or whine. It's just natural. I'm sorry. Mama is doing a video and you're being noisy. No. Anywho. Yeah, noisy. I would turn my computer to let you see her, but I don't want anybody to get motion sickness, because that would totally happen. Anywho, I have no idea how I'm going to do, like, numbering of these videos, or if I'm going to even number these videos. You might even hear my parents, because we have very thin walls. Sorry if you hear any noises other than me. Anywho, so this dropping things, I seriously hope that's not a screenshot or yeah, that would be awful. Anywho, so for this 2 weeks since the 8th, today is the 22nd of April, 2023, I have one finished. Yay! And I've worked on one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, yeah, 7. I can count. 7 projects, which is interesting. However, I did work on 1. I did work on 2. Yeah, I don't know what that was either. Huh. Apparently there's a ghost in my room. Fun. Anywho. It's okay. You're okay. No, you're okay. You stop. You're fine. It's fine. Anybody who has dogs or pets that make these noises will understand the plight of issues. Anywho, 7 projects. I did work on 2 things today. Let me get out this. I had not done any kind of... So most projects that I worked on got 3 days, except for my finished project, which got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. But most stuff got 3 days. One only got 1, but that is okay. I do not have numbers or percentages or any of that stuff for everything. I don't really think I have any percentages wrote down at this point. I could get them. Yeah, I can get them. Okay. Moment. Haha. Handy dandy. Everything. Not notebook, but you know, well, sort of. Anywho. Okay. First things first. We're gonna go ahead and start with the finish. I'm sorry, there's a zipper on some stuff, and you might hear another dog screeching. My first finish of this year, the finish of this month, is my sweetest pie. Here she is. I love this one. It is so cute. I had the top portion yeah, I had the top portion except for like one pie completed whenever I picked it up. I had everything except for this pie done on the top half, and then I still had these 6 pies and these little guys left to do. My biggest problems were literally I had issues with the pie crust border. I had to rip it out a couple times. And I had struggles doing the blueberry pie, which was the last one I did, doing the back stitching, and because the back stitching was in colored thread instead of black. And I also miscounted with this pie. As you will notice, he kind of sits down a little lower than the others by 1 stitch, because I got all the way down to his little stand, and I was 1 stitch down, and I was not going to rip out the entire pie just to re-stitch that, even though my brain was saying you must do that because I have such a horrific little perfectionist brain that I have to fix it. But I really didn't want to do that because that was a lot of stitching, and so I fudged it. For once in my life, I actually fudged a project, but it's mine. My goal for this was to have it completed before my birthday, and I finished it on Sunday. My birthday was on the 20th, so I finished it on April 16th, and my birthday was April 20th. Yay me. So there is that. No, I did not receive any stitching anything for my birthday. My family does not buy me cross-stitch stuff. I buy all my cross-stitch stuff. I do have a few things that I do need to get because of circumstances in my family as to why I need these things, and I say need and not want because they are an important thing. Other good news is that I did finish this before the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, which is what this is. This is the Sweetest Pie South. I didn't say that. It was started in 2017. We finished it in 2023, so another old Sal that got finished. But I did manage to finish it before Frosted Pumpkin releases their new Sal that's coming out, which I am hoping to get a kit to stitch, because I haven't stitched on any of their stuff since having this one. Some of their designs were really cute, but most of them were not things that I really wanted to stitch. If I could get my hands on a kit for the one that they have now, which is the Halloween wreath, I may actually just, honestly, I may just buy the pattern if I can get a hold of it too, and then just kit it up myself with fabric that I want for myself and go that route. But I am hoping to get the new Sal in a kit with linen, because I loved this. Was very, very fun, and this was my first project on linen. It was my first project on 28 count. It was my first 2/2 project, and it was my first hand-dyed fabric, first Sal, first hand-dyed fabric, first crystal or opalescent fabric as well, because this was stitched on 28 count cashel linen in the color Crystal Sand. So it was a lot of firsts for me on this one. It was also a very big eye-opener that I don't keep up with stitch-alongs very well. Hence why I love doing them, to get the mystery effect and to have all the pieces of things. But I'm not good at doing them. I'm not good at doing them or keeping up with them. Let's put it that way. It's just horrific. Anywho, finished one. Those in the bag of finishes, which this is all my finished pieces. Fun story there. Alright, so he was finished. Peacock Daisy. Peacock Daisy is one that I started this month, which I've worked on a lot. Peacock Daisy got 3 days. Oh no. I went out of the wrong thing. Okay. I'm not going to be inserting pictures. I don't really do well with that. I can show you. You can mock up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, it's very blown out. Okay. Nope. It won't work. Okay. Well, Peacock Daisy was a free chart many years ago. I've had it kind of just away, and then I just decided to start it this year when I needed something. And it was one that kind of grasped my attention that I chose. And so I started it and worked 3 days on it. I did, let me tally real quick. In those 3 days, I did 1,545 stitches, and I completed, it is at 2.02%. I have not picked it up since doing so. So I got into the browns. I did do a center start. This is on 32 count, and it is 1/1 tent stitch. But I got through the middle and got into the browns and was filling in the browns. I'm just kind of gradually going out kind of color by color as much as I can. Yeah, I haven't picked it up since the 11th of this month. So it's just kind of been put in time out because I had a few things that just kind of grabbed my attention. And so I worked on those. I also had 2 days of no stitching. Go figure on this. This is so fun. Okay, so after that, I was watching a YouTube. I tend to watch a lot of YouTube, and I like to watch a lot of Stitch With Me's. And if I have the same pattern or piece that they are working on in the Stitch With Me, I will generally pull out and work on that with them. Excuse me. And work on it with them, so it's kind of like a little bit of a stitch along together with the person. So I wound up coming across Simply a Stitcher, I think is what it is. Simply a Stitcher. And she was working on She Sleeps. Well, I don't have the Heaven and Earth Designs version of She Sleeps, but I have the Merejka She Sleeps. So I was like, hey, I just started this month, and or last month, I guess, and I haven't really gotten that far in it. I did a center start. She's at the top though, and so I stitched with her, and I'm trying to get over to this edge over here, and I'm just working in the, like, on the first page. So I'm just trying to get over here to make sure that my margins are okay on my fabric, as I have learned I do on kit patterns. I tend to start in the middle and then start working to the all edges to make sure that my margins are good. So yeah, this one is not completely full coverage, I've learned. Anywhere where there is this light blue right here is actually just the fabric. And this is a, I believe it's a 16 count. Yeah, 16 count. So this is a 16 count Ada, which is really funny because anyone who, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. Okay, I didn't realize I had a thread on my needle, and I'm gonna have to figure out what it is. Fun for me later on. Anywho, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not really a big fan of Aida fabric or low count fabric, and by low count I mean like 14, 16, 18, that kind of stuff. But the funny part about it is that I always stitch 32 count. If I do any little designs on 32 count, it's over 2, so what does that make? 16 count. Yeah. And then I have done 28 count over 2. What does that make? 14 count. Everything winds up being the count of fabric that I don't really like to stitch on, which I find hilarious. But I have learned to really enjoy the lower count fabrics over the last year because of having so many issues with my eyes that I didn't realize was going to happen to me at my age. I have a muscular imbalance in my eyes, which causes my eyes to not center the way that they're supposed to at certain points, where like if I am extremely tired or I woke up too fast or any of that stuff, my eyes will be crossed. So I had that issue, which I've never had that problem in my entire life until last year, and hence why I have glasses that have what they call prisms in there. There are 2 in each lens, which is why you may see a bunch of like rainbowy reflectives in my lenses. It's also why my glasses tend to go way down on my nose and make me look like some sort of bookish nerd that I am not. I do read books, but I'm not like librarian bookish, which is not a bad thing. It's just not me. But anywho, I worked on that Merejka kit for one day, only during the Stitch With Me with Simply a Stitcher. And then I put her away that time. Oh, I had 2 that I only worked on for one day. How about that? I forgot about that. So the next little kit that I pulled out, sorry for a zipper again, is a Disney Dimensions kit. And I pulled it out one evening just to work on it because I have been working on full coverage all day, and it was a day before I went back to work, so I wanted to have something small to work on as far as in the evening that I could just look at the pattern. That's been one of my biggest comforts, has been paper patterns, and they ignore all my stuff. They whatever. They tend to become easy to pull out, and that way I don't have to have all the things, and I can just have what I have. So I pulled out, this is a Disney Dimensions kit. It is the Star Wars Stormtrooper. Yes, this should be relatively simple to do. It's very small, but I have to really want to do it and be in the mood to do it because it is very blocky. And here is what I've gotten done, which is not a whole heap and lot. I put in most of this blue down here, and that's literally all I've done since pulling it out. I did do, I think, some at a doctor's appointment, but that was mainly that blue as well, which is just in there. It's more or less just picking a color and just working maybe 2 strands on it whenever I can, because there's not that many colors, but it's just, I'm not a fan of a lot of block stitching, even though there are times where I need it. Okay, so after those, I worked on Rocky Mountain Selfie, which if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen me post this a few times. So I don't know if this will pull up. Maybe can I dim it down? Can you see it now? You can kind of see it now. So, well, there's a lot of glare, but Rocky Mountain Selfie is a very... I found Rocky Mountain Selfie on Etsy, and I found it at the end of last year and just really wanted to work on it because it just has all the woodland animals that I love, and I was like, I need it, I need to stitch it. So I got all the fabric and started working on it. Oh, I didn't tell you what this one was on. Stormtrooper, since I forgot to tell you, is 14 count Ada. Rocky Mountain Selfie is 32 count 1/1/2 stitch. And I worked on it for 3 days, today being one of those days. And I did... That's weird, I didn't even know I did it that way. I did 1,800 stitches on Rocky Mountain Selfie over the 3 days, and I have completed 1.91%, and it is roughly half of a page. I'm going to take it off of my K's Creations. I have a mini K's Creations lap stand that I use sometimes, and I really like this hoop. This is where I'm at. I've been kind of doing an adaptation of Royal Rose, which is something that I enjoy to do. And yes, I'm grading as I go. I grade with a what is it? It's a chalk pencil. Trying to see. Oh, there it is. There we go. So whenever I have white fabric, I bought the bow and chalk pencil. There you go. A bow and chalk pencil, and they come with white chalk, but I bought some green chalk because you can get green chalk, and it's like a mechanical pencil. It does have an eraser, which I have used on my fabric, and it's fine, but eventually like the chalk will just come out, and this way I don't have to worry about things accidentally not washing out, because it's like whenever you quilt, you use chalk. So that is what I have. And this is where I'm at. So we've put in, I put in most of the top row because I only had, I think, 400 or so stitches or something. And then I just completed the second row across of my page. So it's not doing too bad. This one has a bit of block colors, as you can see, like the green here is a little bit more blocky there, but there's a lot of confetti in the mountain range right now. So I don't mind high confetti stuff. I still have some issues with a little bit of like tension, and I feel like that's where I know you can't see it, and obviously I can't see it if I'm not on top of it. But it gets kind of like the fabric gets ripply, bumpy, rippled, or whatever you want to call it. It's not like I'm not getting any lines or anything like that. It's just I can see like the difference as to where there is more stuff going behind my stitches, which is causing the ripples in the stitching. It is just the way it is. I don't know. I had one other really confetti heavy cross stitch that I was working on, and it's tent stitch, and it's generally only in the tent stitching that I get the ripples. I don't have any issues with it with a full cross, but I don't really care to do full cross very often. I just like half stitching. It's just the way that I like to do it. But yeah, so I got thus far. I will probably keep it out or keep it in the frame a little bit more, because I would like to get this page done before I put it away, but we will see what the next 2 weeks hold, seeing as how I have already worked 3 days on it, and from the way that I have been working on everything, it tends to be 3 days, and then I'm just like, no. And then I'm done. So, we will see what will go on the frame next. Okay. The next thing that I pulled out to work on that got 3 days, and I worked on this one particularly over my birthday, is, goodness, if I can find a picture of it. Please be, there it is Seasonal Streets by Lakeside Needlecraft. This was a, stitch along. Another stitch along, yep. I have, let's see, I have not gotten through a lot of it. This was another 2017 stitch along. I think I have, let's see, there's this one, and there's the Christmas one. I think there's, these two are the only other two. I'm trying to think. Yeah, these are the 2 other ones from 2017, but I haven't really worked on the Christmas one. I don't want it to. Anywho, this is Seasonal Streets. It is on the called for fabric, which is Lilac Sky, and I'm using all the called for colors and everything. Oh, sorry. I've had early morning. This is a Shannon Christine design, which, if you guys have ever stitched Shannon Christine designs, you know she loves her backstitching, and apparently in this one there is like tons of backstitch, and there is tons of French knots. I forget how many I counted in the one little house that I have, or building that I have done alone, but there were a lot. There was at least, I want to say there was probably 30 of them. So I still have not completed the border on this at all. I did complete like the first building with the back stitching and the French knots, so I completed the first building all the way through. And I've almost gotten the first page of the border done. Let me see if you can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So that is Seasonal Streets. And so I am still in the top. I just have a little bit more to go down here before I get to the bottom of the page of the border that I'm working on right now, which is the page 1. And I still have to go across again to give like the sections kind of like that white part is. And I've almost gotten all the way across here. I did start on the back stitching. I backstitched this bobble and gave it its bow. I still have to do the bow on this one, and then I need to finish a little bit of the stitching in here, and then do the back stitching on this bobble and back stitching of the leaves. Let me tell you what, anybody who does full coverage and has done a max color Heaven and Earth designs, you know, like, color changing is great and all. I have never been so wanting to put down a project in a long time as quickly as I wanted to put this one down. I wanted to finish the page of the border, at least the stitching part of it, before putting it down on my last day of stitching it, which was on the 21st of April, and I just said I can't anymore. I just can't. There's so much color changes in this border that it has been almost driving me nuts. The leaves themselves have 3 colors of green. If you can see that, there's 3 different colors of green, and there are only like at most 4 stitches per color, and then it's like you have to change color again. And then the viney little vine parts are 2 different colors of brown, and at most you're gonna get maybe 5 to 7 stitches before you have to change, and then it's got to be changed again. And it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating to me to have to do all that. It's gonna be adorable and cute once it's done, but it's gonna be one of those things that it's gonna have to be just a little bit here and there. So I have put 3 days in on it. I'm probably going to take it out of my frame, which this is a Nerge frame, which I don't mind this. I like this. I kind of like hoops a little bit more than I like Q-snaps. I've learned that this year, so that's fine. It does not really give me like a ton of like hard tension as you can see, but it's enough tension that I don't mind it. I like it. I'm not one of those people that need it to be like, I don't want to pull my fabric so hard that I rip it. That's my thing. So I don't mind having a little bit looser tension with this because I tend to pull my threads pretty tight. So looser tension is fine with me. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I still use Q-snaps and they still get very high tension, which is fine too. I can adapt. It's fine. But I don't mind with the hoops. They don't get super taut and I don't have issues with that. But Seasonal Streets is going to come out of the frame or out of the hoop, and I'm going to find something else to go in here for the time being to work on a little bit at a time, or to give a few days to, 3 probably, and then we're going to probably see if I get the itch to pull this back out. I would like to try to get as many things worked on or as many things, you know, moving along as I can, but you never know. Stuff happens and you just never know what you're gonna want to work on. Today I haven't wrote it down. The last thing that I worked on, I have worked on Rocky Mountain Selfie today, and after I put in the last about 500 stitches on the 3rd day, I put in 500. I like to usually on my full coverages do about 500 stitches in a sitting. That's just something I enjoy to do. Does it happen every time? No, but I like to do that. So after I worked on that one, I decided I was like, I want to work on something else that's not full coverage, that I can probably either pop in a hoop or just work in my hands and not have to worry about pulling out a ton of stuff. And if it has paper pattern, plus if it doesn't, I kind of hemmed and hawed on what to work on. I was looking at my memorabilia that I have on the go right now, and I have a Nora Corbett that's already like is completely kitted, and I haven't started it yet, and I just don't want to quite start it yet. I mean, I want to start her. Oh, excuse me. Pardon. I want to start my Nora Corbett, but I'd like to finish a few other things before starting more, and since I just had a finish, I'd really like to try to work on some other stuff and get some other stuff finished. So I knew that this particular piece was a quarter of the way done with just the stitching. There is beads, there is no back stitch, but there are beads that have to go in as well. And I haven't done any of that yet. But I did get all the stitching done on 1/4 of it. Now this is Glendon Place, which I love Glendon Place. And I specifically love these. These are the dessert mandalas, and I have quite a few of these. I don't have them all, but I have a few of them, and I have 2 started. This one in particular I really, really love. This is Grasshopper Pie, and this is what it will look like. I did not start it on the called for fabric. What I am stitching it with, there we go. I think this is summer khaki. 32 count Lugana in the color Summer Khaki. Now, this one, my first three Glendon places I bought off eBay in a lot, and 2 out of the 3 were already kitted with the beads, the fabric, and the threads, along with the patterns. Oh, I swear, talking a lot and whenever it's basically past my bedtime is horrible. So I already had all the things for this one and the other one that I have started. The rest of them are not kitted at all, and I really would love to start getting those ones kitted because I really enjoy these. I didn't know that I would enjoy them quite as much as I do, but I do. So this is where we're at with Grasshopper Pie. So this whole quarter up here is finished, plus some down there. And then I started on this side. Now today I had been working over here. I did put in some of this dark up here. And I already had this light one done in that corner. I was starting on this color, and I had like 4 strands in there, and I was all the way up here, and I said, it's not matching. I was counting, and I was just like, something's not matching up. So I had to rip it all the way back out, and now I'm back to starting it back, and it's starting to go again. So this one comes out periodically because I really like working on it, and I want to get all the stitching done before putting the beads in. The other one that I have started, I had already started and beaded like a part of it. So, because I was impatient, I like to bead, and I wanted to see what it would look like, and it's very beautiful. So there's a lot of empty space right now because the beads are not in. But we are trying to find this other corner over here. And then as soon as I get this part done, I'll be halfway through the stitching. And then I don't know if I'm going to move down on this side or move down on this side. But either way, we'll work on the bottom half after I get the top half done. And that is I have a drummer in the bottom because she knows I'm talking and I'm not talking to her. Spoiled brat. She is a spoiled brat. Yeah, you are. You're a spoiled brat, and you know it. Sometimes you just can't with dogs. Anywho, with that is the end of my stitching adventures for these 2 weeks. That was 7 projects. I'm very, very proud of myself. I want to see if I can get, I did spy a project in one of my bags, and I'm thinking that I may pull it out and see if I can get it finished this month as well. Stop it. Stop it as well, and I'm not holding myself accountable for that. It is roughly halfway, and it's not a big project. It's the old rug across by my big toe. That wasn't too. I had a lot of it done, but yeah, I may see if I can get that one done. If I can get that one done, that would be 2 finishes this month, and I'd be really happy with that. I would, but I'm not gonna. Stop. I'm not gonna force myself to do that. Anywho, since I have little Miss Extra Whiny, who's getting super whiny, and I don't know why, other than the fact that she's telling me, it's late, Mama, turn your lights off, it's time for bed, you can't do these things past this time, because she's a brat. I'm going to just say goodnight and goodbye, and hopefully I will have this uploaded tomorrow on the 23rd for all your viewing pleasure. So everybody have a good time stitching. Be kind to yourself. Don't let the bad days win. Happy stitching.